everyone. It is an honor to have you all here tonight, and I hope you're enjoying your evening. When I was invited to give this address, Dr. Russell made a comment about incorporating some French or Arabic into my talk, which I have done in a couple of my papers. So my title tonight is, Quel chemin choisis-tu? Which way are you choosing? I was born and raised in Lebanon and lived there for more than 14 years. Arabic, French, and English were part of my heavy load of mandatory classes from preschool through my sophomore year of high school. I used to arrive home every day after 7 hours of school and spend all night doing homework. Now that part is not very much different. Even with fewer languages to worry about, I still spend all night doing homework and managed to go to sleep past midnight. Yes, I'm still learning better time management. I transferred to Chesterton in October of my junior year, and since this was my first time taking advanced literature classes in English, it was a good thing we were reading such an easy book. Dante's entire Divine Comedy. Yeah, that was quite the journey. I used to come home from school and complain, "Mom, I can't do this anymore. I literally don't understand anything in this book. How's this man Dante in hell, purgatory, and paradise at the same time?" And thus continued my weeping journey at Chesterton. You see, I remember my parents having to drag me to come to the school because I was so focused on that which it didn't have, such as prom, homecoming, or football games. I was looking for cool friends who wanted to have fun, and I was concerned these students would be too serious, always talking about philosophy and religion and books. And I was worried about the cultural change, coming to a school halfway around the world. Before transferring, my parents and I had a meeting with Dr. Russell. Well, 5 minutes into this meeting, I was already having a breakdown in front of this man that I just met. Because I thought everyone was going to make fun of my accent and my poor English. I could barely keep a conversation alive. And I was afraid the students wouldn't accept me for being Lebanese. Lebanon? Never heard of that city before. Well, to my amazement, I was completely wrong. Never once was I made fun of for being the stranger from Lebanon. In fact, I never thought someone would be so amazed by my different accents, which I never found appealing or fascinating. Day after day, I actually started to understand what we were reading. It was during the book Don Quixote, about this ridiculous, quixotic man who goes on chivalric adventures and sees inns as castles, windmills as giants, and flocks of sheep as armies, was when I really realized what profound and intense books we were reading. And these books started to change my life. By far, my favorite story this year is Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. His main character, Pip, short for Philip Perup, was a young orphan who was ashamed of himself and the people around him. He was dissatisfied with being common, while seeking for what he believed to be true happiness. He started to change himself, the way he looked, the way he acted around others, even to the point of obtaining an educational level to fit in with the people he considered more worthy. But as much as he tried, he could never become what he truly desired. I was called out directly in the face. I was self-conscious about standing out because of my Lebanese heritage. As a result, I started to act like everyone else. I began to alter my appearance to look more like everyone around me, more American. I would observe how others would ask a certain question and see how people would respond. So if I was asked the same question, I would know how to respond. It's pretty absurd, I know. But ultimately, we are all like Pip. We change ourselves for others in order to relate to and be like them. From that moment, I realized that I'm not here to act like others and blend in with them. Rather, I should love and accept myself because that's how God created me, and that's how God willed me to be. Because what is more beautiful than being different is embracing it and helping others embrace their unique personalities and purposes as well. While I've had many different opportunities to grow in faith and virtue in my life, nothing compares to what I've encountered here at Chesterton. My school in Lebanon was focused primarily on math and sciences, who had better grades and trying to consume as much knowledge as possible. While I did come out of it excelling in those subjects, but I also feel the difference that the school has to offer. Chesterton offers a well-rounded education featuring all of these subjects, but also aims to help everyone understand that they are here for a reason, and that is to grow in faith and help each other get to heaven. Chesterton actively encourages daily prayer, attending daily Mass, starting every class with a prayer, and using our voices to praise God and sing to Him is the most beautiful thing someone could be offered. Teachers and students pray for one another in both happy and difficult times. I have realized that life is not meant to simply be comfortable or only for enjoyment. I now go home knowing that my life has a purpose, and that is to exalt God and enjoy Him forever. We can experience genuine, enduring joy in the abundant life that God has planned for us by pursuing His will for our lives. You can demonstrate to God that you are ready and able to do whatever He wants of you by obeying in everything, even the small things, and in this we find true freedom. Earlier tonight, our choir sang the words of Christ, "If you love me, keep my commandments." Even the words of our choir songs reinforce the message of our classes in our faith. Even though I used to love to sing pop songs, and still do, I would have never known how much I love to praise God through singing in the choir, and I look forward to singing with our current and former students when we sing the Ave Maria at the end of this evening. I've learned in these 2 years more than I've ever learned before. Chesterton helped me build my characters in ways that are difficult to describe. I learned how to appreciate everything I have, even to the smallest things, and learned how to be grateful for the beauty God has created in this world. Before I transferred into Chesterton, I wouldn't say my life was filled with evil doings, but it was definitely not filled with things towards Him. My problem was that I lacked the ability to change despite wanting to. I tried many times, but I found myself back to my previous way of life. I'm not sure where I would be if it weren't for Chesterton. And while I was originally worried that I wouldn't find fun friends, I have found friends who are passionate, loving, joyful, and full of laughter. 2 ways are set before you, O man, the way of life and the way of death. Or put another way, to be or not to be, that is the question. In the play Hamlet, the title character questions whether it is better to exist or not to exist, to be something or to be nothing. Hamlet ultimately raises this question not only to himself, but to all humanity. God made us to be fully alive, so are we living fully for Him, or are we trying to please ourselves? This is the question that Chesterton continues to ask me. Quel chemin choisis-tu? Which way are you choosing? Or rather, what way should you choose? Have a great rest of your evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Awada, for that profound and personal reflection. begin my comments tonight with a few thank yous.